honey retractors. You put a rod up inside here, you turn it, and then it comes out automatically. That way there you don't have to remove these all the time. I was trying to make it easier on myself. What this is this is smoke, if you can see it. And what this does is it makes them think that there's a forest fire nearby, and they go into a dormant little state. So now I'm going to take the top off to check on my progress and see how we're doing here. Okay, can you see all the bees in here? You see the comb that they're making right there? So we're going to take this off. And as you can see, they are making a little comb in between. Let's see if we can't. We just started these, so they are just starting out. And if you see, some of them are still clean, and they look like they're all staying in one spot, which is typically unusual for them. But we're going to pull one out. You see the honey? This is a honeycomb. They are making honey in this one here in particular. We're going to see if we can't find one that they're doing. Maybe they're making some babies in one.
Mr. Castle, will we be able to see the queen bee?
I'm hoping we do. I'm going to look for her and see if we can't find her, because we need to check on her. And so far, all I'm seeing really is workers, which is kind of unusual. There was a wasp coming in here. That's unusual too. All right, so we're going to pull this up. Oh, and I kind of broke it so the larva, you see the larva in there? See that one right there? That's the queen right there. And she is just working away. You see how big she is compared to the other ones? And she seems to be doing okay, but they don't seem to be making this nest the way they normally make a nest. And I have to figure out why. That's what she came in. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this while I have it. This is how they send them. And then they eat the little cork out so that they can get to the queen. And I think I'm going to rearrange this a little bit so maybe they start using a different hive here. And as you can see, we're just going to put them all back in place. They seem to be starting out good, but the only problem I see there is that they are not working like they typically work, and that is they usually work the whole thing. And it may be just because they're new, and perhaps they're just trying to get themselves established here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put them back in there so we don't stress them out a little bit too much, because if you were taken out of your home and moved around, you probably get a little upset too. So we'll go ahead and put our top back on. Oh. And
can you explain what the top is for?
The top is for us. So the bottom is all their food. That's where they make the babies, and that screen that you saw me put in between, that's to keep the queen from flying out. So the top is for us. So what we do is when there's honey, we would come up in here and we would open these valves, and we would turn a valve up here, and it would release the honey into a jar for you. But since we're still pretty early, we were just checking on the bees, and they seem to be doing okay. And she seems to be making babies, and that's exactly what we want. So we're going to put everything back in place, and you saw that we had the honey, and you saw that we had some of that you saw in there was nectar, some of it was honey, and then we'll see if we can't perhaps see what come in to some pollen. If you look right here, you'll see as they come in and out, these are little doors so you can adjust them, and if you see there, you'll see some that just stay there, and what they're doing is they're defending the hive. So all they do is if something comes into here that's not supposed to be here, they will attack it and get rid of it. So these guys right here, as they're coming out, are workers, and they'll fly out and get pollen, and then they'll come back in, and if you look on some of them, if you look real close, you'll be able to see the pollen as they enter the hive. You'll see it on their back legs. Let's see if we can find, and you see how they're getting a little bit restless because I'm here. So they're sending out a couple more to help because they think I may be a threat because I'm a little close. So they're gonna show their muscle is what they're doing, and they're gonna try and tell me to stay away. So they're I don't see one yet that has pollen, but hopefully we'll see it soon. And what I did in there when I rearranged them is that they'll go back in there and they'll fix everything that I had to break to open up and look at. So if you look, some of them may have some pollen on their back legs somewhere. And you see they're not very aggressive because I'm not being aggressive. I'm not going in there and attacking them. But you can see how nervous they're getting. They're building up their troops. They are a small hive, so they have to defend the queen. They have to make sure that she's safe. I don't see any yet landing with pollen. You saw one that was removing something that just landed there. He came out with something. So what they do is they bring the garbage out and they throw it on the ground so they keep the place clean. We should see some with pollen, but I am not seeing any yet. Let's see. These all look like they're here just to try and defend the hive. I'm going to try and get a little piece of honeycomb out, so maybe you guys can taste it. Now let's see what we can do here. You see all that? These guys are not happy that I'm taking their honey. Come on, guy. A little bit more. Let's put it back. That's one of their eggs.
Where?
Right there. See that white thing right there?
Why are they doing that?
They're pulling it apart. I guess they don't think it's going to live because we disrupted it. So perhaps they don't think it's going to be worth keeping.
So that's kind of like trash. So.
Yeah, so they're breaking it up so that they can get rid of it.